Okay, and we're back. Few things before I get started. First off, today, let me get back on screen. Today, I will not be working on my game. Today, I'm going to be helping out Cobradile, Cobra the Best, here on Twitch, with some of his codes. We're going to be looking at a stranger's code, maybe with a few of my functions thrown in here, because I think he's borrowed some of my code already, and I might be lending him some more code to try and get things patched up. Before we get started, I'd like to go ahead and thank Ponet for, again, resubscribing or continued subscribing. I'm not sure how it works because I'm not really subscribed to anyone, but I assume it takes some amount of effort to keep pitching in money toward this stuff, even if it's Jeff Bezos' money instead. But thanks either way. As a reminder, I've already pledged that any money that goes toward this stream goes directly back into Sega Saturn development, either through prize pools like in the Geese contest or getting more equipment to try and figure out some stuff better, like buying art assets or something. So either it's going toward my game or toward a competition. Hopefully the latter than the former, depending on your preference. Oh, already we got stuff. Oh, hey, Trevo's back. Nice to see you again this week, Trevo. So, before I get started, I just want to make a quick update to the Sega Saturn competition. Like I announced last week, we are moving the deadline over to January 1st, and that is to give everyone more time to do cool stuff, because everyone's got ideas that they're not ready to present as of basically last week. And also, because I'm waiting on the Seed Eater to come in so we can do live tests on real hardware. So, if you've been keeping up at all with Professor Race's posts, you know that the Seed Eaters are in Australia. They're literally just waiting for screws before they get shipped out. They might already be shipped out, and I just don't know about it yet. And, of course, Australian customs is awful and terrible, as my experiences with the PSIO have taught me, so I'm not holding my breath on getting them this month. Second, prize pools are updated. So before, the top prize was just $20 for the winner of the poll. Obviously, that was probably going to go to XL2. So, to modify it a bit, I've expanded first prize a little bit. So XL2 is probably going to end up getting $25 unless someone really blows it out of the water. Second and third prizes get a little bit less money. And fourth prize, I am pledging at least a few hours of me doing dedicated art assets for you. That may or may not be a prize. That might actually be detriment to your project. I don't know, but it's something. If you guys want to negotiate with each other for who gets which prize, to see if number 4 can pass it off to the last place winner, go ahead. Okay, yeah, Cobra, you kind of get used to it. Like, my first couple streams, I was like, okay, this is gonna be crap. But at this point, I've just learned that, you know, if I just shove comments everywhere, people think I know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a bit late for that, Cobra. We're here, we're live. Let's just you know, let's go all Bill O'Reilly on this one. Let's play it out here. So, what I'm seeing here is a complete lack of callbacks and Joe Core running nothing. So I'm not really sure how this is supposed to play out. But we can find out. Where's my controller? Huh, my controller's not even plugged in. That's probably not going to help. Jane, if you got some convention swag or whatever you want to give out to some, you know, 5th and 6th place winners. I don't even know how many people are competing. I think 6th place is like going to be last place depending on how things are going. But yeah, if we want to give up some stuff, I'm sure if Shane wants to contribute to the prize pool, I can mail you guys some stuff and I'll just pay for your mailing cost. Start button's not doing anything, so let's actually look at what that function actually does. Without the callbacks, it's going to be kind of rough for me to figure out what's going on here because there's not really a cycle to it. Just one thing has to lead to another without running into an end condition. So, start intro can never return in order for this thing to do anything, which I believe is in menu. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's start menu here. And then menu.c. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all this junk, and I'm going to shove it over here. And then I'm going to put this as menu.h. You have, okay, info slide is some sort of struct. It contains an integer, which I guess is some sort of index, and a message, which I'm assuming is just a string. What you should be doing, if you don't want to do callbacks, that's fine. I found that Joe Engine works better with callbacks if you're dependent on Joe Engine. But the point of the callbacks is I think you only really want to use one. You want to initialize everything up front if you're doing a small game, and then the callback is just your main loop, and the main loop can handle everything. If you don't want to do callbacks, you can literally just call just main loop and just put it in while equal 1 or something like that. While 1 for the main loop function. And you would call that, I believe, after we do the Joe Core run function, because this is what's running the actual things that you're probably going to grab from. Okay. I mean, right now, I'm assuming load gem would be to actually start the game. But for the menu, I just want to see what's going on here. Oh my goodness. What is all this? Start screen. Button cooler. What is this? What does this signify? This is a block comment, and it looks like it's describing one of these things, but I don't know what it's describing. Alright, so Cobra, to get this thing started, do I want to comment out start intro and then load up load gem? Game. Okay. Where is this from? Is this from menu? Okay, so this is a weird thing though, because your functions here don't agree with your functions in menu.h. What's going on here? I'm not sure what this comment's doing, but I don't know why it's not highlighted. That's bothering me, but I'll figure it out later. Let me at least get these guys properly initialized and moved over so I'll feel better about it. Oh, okay. Game.c. Oh, it's over here. Game mode. Well, I would put this, where did I find that, actually? I would put this comment over here, if that's what you mean by that. There, and maybe, where you... Oh, you don't initialize it here. Well, whatever. I'll put it here, then. Kind of separate it. If you're gonna describe what things you're doing, because I had no idea what I was going to. Game mode flag. There we go. That makes me feel better. Going back to sanitizing this thing. There. Mode in menu.c. Wait, where is mode in menu.c? Okay, let's collapse this. Is it over... I don't see mode in menu.c. Oh, it's supposed to be in here? Okay, well, let me comment that in over here then. It's in draw intro. Okay, let me go ahead and draw introduction, and we'll figure out what this code does as we walk through it. So if mode is set to 1 or 2, these are the only valid flags. So there's no 0 and there's no 3. Implemented. Okay, 1 is a start screen, 2 is prologue slides, which I think you've shown us previews of. So this appears to be working as... yeah. This is start screen. Prologue. Now, the timer here, I'm not really... What is that doing? Huh. Okay, is that included in here? Where's the timer in? Game, audio, font. Where are you pulling in that timer from? Here's the thing. This menu.c isn't describing the actual menu. He's describing kind of like a what's coming up on screen. So it's more like this is more of a game mode handler than anything, really. So it's a kind of a top-down approach to game mode handling, where if your game mode over in game.c, this guy over here, is set to 1, he will draw, you know, basically press start. And if you press start, presumably you activate the slides. I think my controller wasn't working at the time, so I couldn't get that to run. Then this function, if you press start, the problem is this function needs to be in some sort of loop, because as soon as this doesn't trigger and it passes by this whole function is going to end. Yeah, so yeah, this needs to be in some sort of loop to catch it when you eventually do press the start button. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I imagine it's supposed to be a straightforward game. Oh, okay. I missed that, Shane. Here's the thing. I didn't see the timer at all. I don't know where your timer function is. Because your included code is game.h, audio.h, and font. I assume it's somewhere in game.c, but I can't really... Oh boy. Looks like you got a lot of stuff in here. I've never actually seen your game in action, I don't think. So, I'm wondering, how are you even fitting this many functions in? I'd start to get worried when I have this many functions, because after a certain number of functions, thing won't even compile. Now, you're going to want an extra... Always have an extra line at the end blank for safety, because the compiler likes it like that, but... Let me see. Just give me some white space there. There we go. It will run, but it's not going to do much right now. So let me try running this again. This time with the controller plugged in, hopefully it'll do stuff. Oh my goodness, what's wrong this time? Oh, Sigwin's being stupid. As is tradition. Oh, wow. Okay. This is different. Oh, what the... Okay, so it appears we're blasting out science officers from Star Trek, or just some guy in a blue jacket. I don't understand how the thing comes off and on screen, but it's playing. I'm having a little bit of trouble. I think you need to slow down the gun there, and I'm not sure why it keeps going down and up. I don't know if that's supposed to be like your reload animation. Oh, what the crap? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pressing A. I don't think it's doing anything. Down, up is shoot. Okay, what was I doing with A? Was I dying? Okay, wall. Okay, so it's a shoot reload thing, but apparently I wasn't shooting because I don't think I was pressing down or up. I was just pressing left and right. Does start reset this thing? I don't think so. Okay. Let's, I guess, recompile and try again. Wait, is A shoot or is A not shoot? Okay, first off, let's find out where the controls are. How do you handle control player? Oh, okay, A does shoot. So up and down. B activates the boss. Okay, that's probably why that happened. I wasn't hearing any audio. Maybe that's the issue? I pressed C at some point, but I don't think I heard anything. Let me double check to make sure my emulator isn't muted in my mixer. Okay, let's try. First off, let's keep an eye out for any potential warnings. Oh, hey, quit that. Ponut, I'm scrolling through and I'm not seeing any warnings in this compilation. It's just all stuff happening. Okay. Let's attempt to... Okay, A is shoot. So I got him. Shoot. Shoot. Okay, up and down don't appear to do anything. So what... Okay, I'm going to try pressing C. And it froze the game. Okay, C freezes the game. The problem is the audio, like you said. I don't understand where your main loop is, which is going to kind of throw me off a little bit. But we'll find out. Play audio. 1. And that's going to come in from... Oh boy, I'm guessing you have an audio.c. Is it included here? I don't see it included anywhere. Oh, it's in the menu. Okay. So let's pull up audio.c, see what's happening. I think this is based off of my code. Yep, there it is. Forsaken Plane. No, I did not edit the compiler to squelch warnings. It's no warnings came up, which is... My code has warnings, and I don't know how you got rid of those. Okay. So, first off, for sanity's sake, let me pull up the code from Forsaken Plane, because I know I've touched it a little bit, but it should be fundamentally what we figured out in that one stream. So, I have PCM 8-bit, and then everything kind of zeroed out, and audio volume set to 127 out of 127. So that looks the same. There's an audio repeat timer. And he has the same... okay, current channel 0. Do I have a current channel? No, I just set it to whatever channel is convenient. Oh, okay. So we got load PCM, we got... initialize sound effects, we have play audio. There we go. Wait, how does this even work? This is my code. I can't even read how it works. What's going on here? Turn off 0, turn on 1. If false. Oh, okay, I turned these off. That's why these two are... Okay, if I press B or C... Okay, if I press C or Z, something plays on channels 2 or 5 respectively. That's how this works. And if the audio time has passed correctly. Again, Cobra, where is your timer? Because this is it's blowing my mind how this is even running without a main loop callback. And I can't figure out where you put your timer. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cobra, you're gonna have to help me out here. I need to see your timer in order to figure out what's going on here. Update void is the callback. Update. Where is it? Do you know which file it's in? Okay, I see your timer file, but I don't see the includes anywhere. So it's... Oh, it's here. Okay, it's an audio.h. There it is. This is no longer necessary, because this is included in here. Okay, so we can pull in timer now. And this looks like my timer. In fact, yeah, it's from Scenario. Okay, so you are using my timer. It's fixed time. Timer's running every loop. So, oh, where's the white space? Let's get a little bit more white space. There we go. White space is your friend. Okay, timer, old time, new time. Subtract those two to get the delta. These are memory locations that you use to count time. Okay, that's as we discovered back on the scenario. So, update void. I honestly did not see update void, did I? Oh, there it is. Yeah, we really need like a listing of all this stuff. Weird that there's no includes here, but okay. Is there includes here? Oh my goodness! Yes, there are. Holy crap. Okay, let's just get all this stuff in there. And then we'll just make this include game.h. How about that? There we go. Let's give myself a little bit of a map to work off of. Okay. Activate boss. That's what that one button does. I guess that's the Grim Reaper with the sword or something. Okay. Whoops. I didn't need to press that button. Check collision. Alright. And, it's a 2D game. It's weird that there's a collision involved at all, but okay. Brick logic. I don't know what that's for. That looks like there needs to be a void in there. For good practice. And then control player. I'm not sure what level does. We don't even have. I'm not going to try and take apart the whole game because it's not really the purpose of what we're doing here. We're just trying to. I think primarily we want to try and fix that audio problem. But right now I'm just kind of commenting everything, so everything's in a structure I can recognize, so I know what I'm looking at. Well, not commenting, but just organizing. So, just to explain what's going on, Cobra, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to get everything loaded into place where it should make sense. My draw. Okay. Load background. And load game. Okay. Given that, in our update, we have the timer running, and I'm assuming that the update is running every loop. So let's go back to the main loop and try to figure out what's going on here. We're loading the game. So in load game, reload the background. Okay. Set up the alpha, set up speech rules. Where is your... Oh, you're adding callbacks here? What? That threw me off. Okay, that's why. So generally when we add callbacks, we do it all the way over here so we see everything that's going on in Joe Main. That explains why your game runs, because I couldn't figure it out. But yeah, no, you added the callbacks. The update is being called every cycle, and then after that is my draw. I mean, that's not what's going on here. The game is running just fine, and Joe Engine can't handle multiple callbacks. That's not the problem. It's not great practice, but it's obviously it's workable because the game runs. He's got a game working. That's playable. It's qualifies as a game. What I would do is I would include game.h. Yeah, there we go. We got this included here. Let us make a new function that's just called, I mean, we don't need an initialization function yet. We're just going to do main loop. And in that, we are going to call, let me do, oops, okay. We have main loop, And this is going to be called back every cycle. In this main loop, what do we want? We want... update and draw. But we only want... oh, no, we don't want that. We want update and draw. But in a specific instance, when do we call this function? When does this actually happen? This happens when we call load game. When does load game happen? Okay, immediately. So after we load the game, we want to create a callback oh crap, there we go. Only instead of doing it individually for each function, we're going to do it on the main loop as a whole, and then we can manipulate the whole callback structure. And this will be less error prone. But again, not what we're really here for, just trying to make everything a little bit cleaner, so that we don't accidentally trip up an error when we're trying to fix something else, like Hal changing a light bulb. Okay, so the audio, it looks like everything is as I left it, more or less. So you have load PCM, that's as we expect, initialize sound, okay. It sounds... Okay, first off, let us... do you still have my... Okay, let's check real quick. There is bruh and ara.pcm, which is the test files I was using. I trust those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the audio call for whatever button C does with bruh. So bruh is going to be SFX, whatever number that is. So I'm not a fan of this song right now. What is this? It's another PSU thing. It's boring. Next. There we go. Mirage Saloon. Okay, so what we're looking at is when we press a certain button, play audio every 75. Play audio 1. Where's play audio? Where's actually just play audio? Is that over here? This looks like it'll get stuck in a infinite loop after all 8 channels are loaded and it doesn't go through. So we want this. Okay, let me. Okay, so this is play audio, and as the comment above describes, using this too often will result in a crash, and that's because of this code structure right here, I believe. So let's just say all of your channels have an audio time plus an audio repeat time that is greater than current time. Wait a minute. That's guaranteed to crash, right? Audio time. Audio time is set where? Where is audio time? That's an array, but where is it set up? Is it audio.h? Audio time, max sound channel. Okay, so we got audio time set to number of sound channels. Let's assume it's initialized to 0. Every time we play audio, we set it to time. So, if for some reason the audio plus audio repeat time, we play 8 channels of audio, and they're all mono. 8 mono channels of audio. So this guy is set to basically time, or past time at best. Well, I'm showing you the failure state. So let's say audio time gets called first time. First audio time is at like a time of 1. Then the second time audio time is at time of 2. And then we do that until we have like audio times 1 through 8. If we went through like 8 solid cycles, assuming we have like 1 unit, 1 integer out of audio repeat time. And because audio repeat time is a quarter of 2 to the 16, which is like 2 to the 14, this will keep running forever if all 8 audio channels are called and played, and then their audio time is set, and this thing keeps resetting. It's going to end up keep looping over and over again. But because we're not calling timer in the middle of this loop, timer's not being updated or called back. The time will always be what it is. The audio time will always be what it is, despite the fact that the high frequency, the low frequency counter in the processor are still counting. You're not updating your time, your actual time thing that you're comparing against, your calculated time. So once you're in this infinite loop where 8 audio channels have been called within your audio repeat time, you will never escape. And I think that is at least one source of the error. So, first off, let's modify this in a way that will... First off, do you want this thing to play no matter what? Like, if all 8 audio channels are playing something at the current time, do you care if we wipe out one of them and play something on top of it? Do you want the failure state for filled audio channels to be don't play a new sound or play new sound on the oldest channel? Because we can do this both ways. So let me comment this out while you decide on that. But we like I said, we can do it both ways. I don't know what your preference is, but this needs fixing in the event that you have 8 audio channels playing at once. Want to do what? You need which one? Which one? So either play no matter what and just wipe out the oldest one, or play, or don't play at all if other guys are still playing. Okay, so essentially what we do is we're going to go through current channel is equal to 0. Here, let me just find minimum, or find oldest channel. Okay, let me see if I remember how to write this right, because it's been a little bit. It's been like a week and I've been doing other stuff. For int I equals 0, I is less than max sound channel, I plus plus. What we're going to do... Oh, we need a... okay, current channel is what it is. That's a master thing, so let's leave it where it is. We're going to want a fixed oldest time is equal to time. And then we're going to find the audio time. So overwrite oldest time if current channel's time is older. So if this is less than this... Oh, not current channel, I. -1. So we're going to start at -1. That's our failure state. And assuming that that current channel becomes not -1 by the time we get to the end of this for loop, then we'll play something. So if audio time is less than oldest time, then we're going to say current channel is equal to I, and that oldest time is equal to the audio time of that current channel. So what this will do is it'll go through the list of all the audio channels that we have, and it'll find out which one has played least recently, the longest back in time, the oldest way. Now, from here, if a channel is found, play. So if, okay, let's just do a catch-all error. If current channel is greater than or equal to 0, and current channel is less than max sound channel. There we go. And that way it has to correspond to a real sound channel. Then we will turn off the PCM playing on that channel, and then turn on whatever sound effect we sent through the argument. Ah, come on. We gotta rename I. Okay, instead of I, we'll do sound index. There we go. Okay, so go. There we go. And in that way, this should do things. Let's find out what it does. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the background music because it's kind of distracting, because Lost Jungle from Sonic Heroes is just kind of a chaotic mess. And also because I want to make sure I'm hearing any audio that's coming out of the emulator. Oh boy, what now? Everyone came in with errors at once. Let's see. Okay. Game.h, menu.h, main.c. Holy crap, what happened here? I can't even read these errors. What did I break? Okay, let's just look at those lines and see if anything obvious comes up. Game.h 6, menu.h 5, main.c 30. Main.c 30 is include menu. Game.h 5 is include audio. Oh, game.h 6, that's include alpha. And menu.h 5 is include game.h. It looks like a mutual include kind of error, but it doesn't seem like it should be triggering the way it is. Because everything seems to be sanitized into its own .h file, so it really should... Well, maybe. Let's try, see what happens when we look into... Let's see, menu.h. Game.h, there we go. So we have alpha. Okay, let's turn the music back on, because we're going to be here for a minute. Where is your alpha? I don't even see alpha as a file. Oh, I'm in the wrong file. Okay, I was looking at Forsaken Plane. My bad. Okay, alpha. So that thing I was doing where I was copying all these guys and shoving them somewhere else was to avoid this exact thing where mutual includes were starting to get screwy. Okay, so we sanitized alpha audio. Let's look at brick, because that's included too somewhere. Okay, brick looks like it's pretty well isolated, and Joe.h should also be sanitized, but we'll do that anyway. What about font? Font looks fine. Also, it's my code. Okay, so game.h. That looks sanitized to me. There's an intro.h. Does that even get called? Let's see. Audio, alpha, crunkenite. What the heck is a crunkenite? Crunkenite, Yuki, and speech bubble. That's the last thing to sanitize. Okay. Oh, okay. So what I'm doing here, I'm moving all these include statements into header files, and the header files have these sanitization flags here that says if something is not defined as crunkenite.h, then define it, or underscore h, define a crunkenite underscore h, and then call these include statements. So that way, whenever I do this include, as long as this has not been included before, then it will run all this. If it has been included before, it's going to skip all of this, and that's what this end if does. Okay. So crunkenite, what else was there? There was speech bubble and Yunki. I make typos all the time. It's almost unavoidable for me. You see it anytime I start writing comments, and then I have to go double back on myself. Okay, let's try Yunki, and then we'll see if what I described is the actual problem or if something else is happening. Let's go ahead and get rid of this, and we'll see if... Save this. Save this. Okay, you know what? I can't deal with this song anymore. Lost Jungle is gone. Nope. Okay, that'll do. Let's try to compile this. Oh boy. Wow. I don't even understand where some of these errors even come from. Game.h, menu.h, main 30. Main 30, okay. Let's get back up in here and see what main 30 looks like. It's menu.h. And in menu.h 5, we have game.h, and in game.h 6, no new line at end of file. Are you serious? That was it? Oh, I just had to read. This is I was even warning everyone about this earlier. There's no new. You need to have white space at the end of your files, or the compiler is going to do this crap. Let's see if. Let's just keep running errors until we run out of errors. Oh boy. No new line at end of file Crunkenite. Let's try get some white space at the end of Crunkenite. I like how destroy all Crunkenites doesn't do anything, because you can't destroy them all, because they will never go away. Oh boy. Okay. So, no new line at end of Yunki. Brick and Yunki have new line errors. New line at end of file. Thing is, these are all warnings. None of them look like errors yet, but let me just get rid of all these warnings until an error shows up. Let's see. New line at the end of game.h, Yunki, speech bubble, and brick. Let's try that. Here's the thing. This stuff was compiling earlier, so this can't be a game-killing thing, but it's hard to figure out what's going on without clearing up all these errors. Okay, game.c. Oh, that's plenty of white space. But game.h needs it. Okay, what's missing now? Okay, it's starting to clean up. It's starting to become more readable, and then the problem becomes apparent in audio. Okay, let's clean up some of these first. No new line at end of file brick.h. Did I forget to fix that? Yes, I did. And here too. Sound effects defined but not used. Oh, I forgot to write in that number. Whoops. Oh well. Static never defined. Static. Okay, that's just a warning. I think I know. I think I was the one that broke this code. It was me. It was me all along. I learned it from watching you, Dad. It was this. Because I was trying to load in bruh in place of what I was trying to play, and what I was trying to play is defined. Where are we trying to play this? We want to play audio 1. Audio 1 means play audio index 1, which means shotgun. So instead of shotgun, we're going to go bruh in audio index 1. That's what I meant to do. Now what? Oh, that's just Sigwin being stupid. Okay, don't do that to me. Okay, it compiles, and we got rid of a lot of errors that we couldn't see before, or warnings we couldn't see before, which is nice. Now let's see how this is going to sound. It's probably going to be awful, because I think something's playing every frame. Yep. I don't hear anything. I'm not hearing anything at all, guys. Do you hear? Let me check my audio settings right quick. Mendefend is not outputting any audio. Oh, C. C also does not play any... What the crap? I'm pressing C, no audio. Pressing B. Oh, okay, that guy. Yunky timer. I don't know what this does. He's doing something. Thing is, I can't tell if I'm shooting anything because I can't hear anything. Ah, crap. Okay. We gotta fix this. Okay, for everyone that just kind of jumped on the stream right now, I notice there's a big jump in everyone happening, or everyone in chat or whatever. This is not my game, this is Cobra's game. So the fact that it's his game actually has gameplay and mine doesn't should say a lot. We are trying to figure out why the audio won't play. So, let us go back to play audio. Now, I promised that doing this would find us a current channel, and then we would be able to see what's going on. Obviously, that did not happen this time. So, what happened? If audio time is less than oldest time, the current channel is set to I, and oldest time is set to audio. Wait a minute, did I change this over here? Where even is it? ID? Oh yeah, there we go. Now, that shouldn't affect anything too much, but, you know, whatever. It's simpler, but it is still a game. I don't think anything I have right now yet qualifies as a game. Okay. This should flag as true, as should this. Let's figure out if we're actually calling it correctly, though. So in, I don't think we need to have Crunkenite or Speech Bubble or any of this stuff open yet. Actually, a lot of this stuff on the top right can go away. I have faith that timer and font are working as intended. Now, in the game, So, play audio. That's this. So I should be giving it a sound index, and it should be playing that sound index. And then setting the audio time for whatever channel it is to the current time. Huh. That should work. But this means it's playing the audio every 75 seconds or 3. If old time plus 2 fixes. Oh, this will literally never trigger because the game cycle is not capable of running that slowly. This won't do anything. Okay, next, you. This appears to be whether or not we're fighting the boss. So I think this is the boss and this is not the boss, or vice versa. Where do we actually... Let's see. Control player. Timer. Where's the part where I actually control whether or not I'm shooting? Where's the player input? Is it control player? Appears to be, but where do we control the player? Oh, here. Okay, control player level. And level is 1. So control player 1. Okay. There's... Oh boy, this is just layers and layers of... Here's the thing. I am worried that even going down this far in this many if statements might not even compile, but apparently it works. So, let's assume it's working for now. Some of these could use some comments, but let's just look for the play audio. C, play audio 1. Here's an if. So if I'm pressing C, play audio 1 should trigger. Let us kind of skip this part. Let's assume that my logic here is wrong. Let's play on channel 0 all the time. And then skip this out. Alright. So channel 0, 0 is greater than or equal to 0 and is also less than max sound channel, which should be 8. There we go. Let me see. You know what? Screw it. Bruh is everything. Everything says bruh. Bruh is 1, bruh is 2, bruh is 0, bruh is life, bruh is love. I mean, we don't need this anymore. This is just vestigial. And just for safety's sake, I'm going to take the bruh PCM file from Forsaken Plane, which is 37 kilobytes. And I'm going to shove it into your copy over... Wait a minute. Where are your PCMs? Oh! Brah's not in here! That explains several things. Okay. Let's try it out. Let me compile first. Don't you give me that crap. Okay, every time I press C, it should say Brah, right? Assuming Sigwin cooperates. Yeesh. Okay, loading, loading, loading. Oh, come on, I thought we had it this time. Bruh.pcm should be loaded, which means pressing C should do it. Okay, do you guys actually hear it? Because I don't hear it, like, at all. I feel like I'm going crazy. What's my sound mixer say when I press C? Nothing, just... Why does it say Mozilla's making sound? Mozilla shouldn't be making any sound. Oh, whatever. Anyway, the point is MedDefend is not making any sound. This deeply bothers me. Okay, quick sanity check. Let's go over to Forsaken Plane and try to play Bruh. Oh, come on, man. You know you're good for it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go over to my demo. And I know that C button and Z button are both mapped to sounds, so I'm going to just try to play sounds from there. And worst case scenario, I'll copy stuff from over there. Just straight up copy.
Bruh. Bruh.
Okay, yeah, that works. So, Ara and Bra from my code over here should be working. So let me copy those PCMs, shove them into Cobra. What's the name of this game? Never actually caught the name of this game. And let's see if there's any subtle differences in the way I'm doing stuff and the way he's doing stuff that might trigger whatever. So when I go into Forsaken Plane and let's see, handle input. And oh, that's just my input screening. What actually handles stuff? Audio? Oh yeah, there we go. When I press the button C and audio time plus audio repeat time is less than or equal to actual time. Rossies Classic. Okay. I'll know what to name my stream now. PCM entries 2. This is interesting. Now, what does your audio say? PCM entries C. Wait, sound timer. This is interesting. What is this doing? Okay, more importantly, when does this trigger? This looks like it's going to kill all sound forever. Rossies Classic. Rossies. Yeah, I'm not sure if I get the pronunciation, if that's a reference or something, but I'll do my best to do it justice. Rossies. I'm going to completely disable this entire function because it looks like it's killing your sound. Because this will always trigger. I think. Unless it doesn't. I don't know. Well, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't trigger, but it... crap, what is going on here? Current channel 0. Nah, screw it. Let's just make sure it always plays no matter what. Okay. Just immediately, off the bat. Oh, I didn't have to do that. Else, there we go. Catch all. No matter what, do what I want you to do. Where are we at? Just straight up copy my sound. There we go. SFX1, SFX1. You know what? It might be the way you're addressing this struct here because it's an array. Maybe, or it's not a struct. It's an array of structs, and things get always get screwy when you do things like that. Let's try loading up something a little bit different. Let's try loading an individual sound file. Like so. SFX1, is that what I call it? Yeah, SFX1. So SFX1, where's your audio.h? There. This here? No. Here? No. Here. 4 entries. Whatever. Actually, how do I load it at? SFX, SFX, SFX. It's not here. Is it here? There. Let's do that. It might be the fact that it is in some form of array, so addressing it might be an issue, and then you're going to have to find a way around addressing it properly. So let me do if false and enforce it into the else. And let's see if that'll fix it. Okay. So let's go back into Rossies Classic and try to play sounds with C. This is Danger on the Dance Floor, which is the mini-boss theme from Sonic Mania. Come on, I'm pressing C. I'm pressing C, you have to do what I say. That's the rules. That's the rules, and that's what I said. Come on. Ah! Okay. That didn't work. It doesn't recognize me pressing C. Let's do it when I press A. Let's completely wipe this. No if statement. It just does it. It just does it, and it has to. And we'll figure out the logic to wiping out the last sound channel before. SFX, SFX, SFX. Okay. So when we initialize our sounds, it's loading in SFX1. And then, okay, let me check my audio thing real quick. Just make sure I know what I'm doing here. So I have a load PCM over here, and your load PCM should look very similar. In fact, it should look basically the same because we both stole it from the same place as the Joe engine. Okay. So load PCM. Okay. Sound effects initialization. Mono 8-bit. And you have mono 8-bit. Okay. Because that means you're using my modified struct that I did. Yep, okay, good. So SFX1 should be playing. I still don't know what the sound timer does, and it scares me. I'm going to disable it for now. Okay, so play audio. This should be a very simplified version of what I'm doing here. Assuming the trigger plays, it should just be playing PCM entries on whatever channel that we set to, and then playing the sound effects data. Okay. And then audio on channel. Do I even use this? I don't even have this. Okay, now let's go into the game and see. Okay, play audio. So we're going directly to this function. So what this is telling me is that I don't think we're even triggering this function. I think something else is happening or something. I don't know. Here, let's force this all the way up to the top. No matter what. I don't care what state we're in. Debug. Play audio if available. Okay. No matter what, if I press C, I expect to have C. Alright. Let's try that. Well, it kind of bothered me because it could kill sound depending on the right flag, and I don't want that right now. So I turned it off, and I did it on purpose. It's still not playing! Holy crap, what is going on? Is this something to do with Joe Engine itself? Is there a reason why this is not happening correctly? Is Joe Engine stopping us from doing this? Or is the C button not triggering for some reason? Oh, maybe that's the wrong call, maybe. I don't know. Let's go back into Forsaken Plane and look at my input handler. Pad 1 key is press C. Now, this... Wait, is this still Forsaken Plane? Yeah, this is still Forsaken Plane. Game.c. Let's just double check, make sure. Crap, it's the same thing! Let me do, you have like a printf statement somewhere? Print. There we go. Let's do line like 5. Do call playing audio. Else. Not playing audio. We'll find out if it's even registering the C button. And if it is registering the C button, that means it's playing audio is not working. Not playing audio. Playing audio, except it's not, because you can't hear it. Okay. Playing audio, not playing audio. The problem is not the input. The problem is the play audio function. which boggles my mind because it should just work, right? It should just work. Let's keep that flag there just in case. So, play audio. Play audio call 1 should, in here, take sound index. Let's turn that into play audio 0. Sound index 0. It should make a difference, actually, because everything is hard-coded here. SFX1 should play on channel 0. You know what? Screw it. Let's make it channel 8. I know channel 6 works, and I know that it's unlikely that it's been written to before. SFX1 should have been loaded up with initialize here, and we know that it is set here. It should just work. It's weird that it don't. Okay. Because I'm looking at my Forsaken Plane code over here, and there's nothing that says that it shouldn't work. It should. Here, how about this? I'll add this sanitization around it, and that way, if the repeat time, if you know, there we go. And then audio repeat time is what it is. As defined up here, 25 hundredths of a second. Alright, see you in a little bit, Cobra. So this is effectively exactly what I got over here. And if I look at my input handler, well, the input handler, that's not the issue. We already established that. Is my code over here, and it appears it should be working. And my timer is at work here, so this time should reflect real time. SFX data. But where would it be loaded to? Because it's literally my function here. Look, so we'll have Joe FS read from file name, and whatever length it is. Length is actually, how does this get? Okay, now I'm scratching my head a little bit here. Now I'm not sure how this. Oh, okay, no, that's a pointer. It gets written to. That's why. But the way he's loading the thing and the way I'm loading the thing. Wait, is this the way I'm loading the thing? No, this is Rossies. Okay, Rossies Classic, and then Forsaken Plane audio loader looks like this. And they're like they're identical. So let me just this and this. They're exactly the same. They're being loaded the same way. The only difference is that okay, here, maybe this is not working out. Let me just comment that out entirely. But SFX1 should be loaded in Rossies Classic the same way it's being loaded for me. Could that be the issue? There's no way he ran out of memory to play a sound effect with a game that's purely composed of just pictures. How big? Let's look at the actual files. Not in Forsaken Plane. Why do I keep looking at that? So we have a 225 kilobyte background, which admittedly, a little bit on the big side. The menu, start, 8 kilobytes. Okay. So I can see how things could maybe start to add up. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Okay. The slides, 24. Okay, they're basically like 15 to 30 kilobytes a pop. So he is taking up a fair bit of space. 64. Oh god, some of these are big. He's taking up a fair bit of space, but we still have a megabyte to work with. Correction? Yeah, but what is SGL doing in his game that it isn't doing in mine? Okay, so is the answer that there's not enough memory to play this stuff? How big is Bra? 37 kilobytes. And we're loading it once. Okay, let's go ahead and do some maths here. So we're gonna count up all these. There we go. You see me using proprietary. Proprietary stuff here on these stream that I normally do open source stuff on, and we'll just see how it goes. So under BGs, we have college.tga, and that is 225 kilobytes. So we're depending on the Joe engine loader, and that might be a mistake, depending on how much stuff we're trying to throw at it. So let's look at menu. If it truly is that this thing did not load correctly, in that case, is there, when we have the file loading, it should return a value, right? That the default behavior is to return a value. Start.tga is 8.04. There's two of these. There's one with a correct spelling and one without one. Really? Why does it give me that crap? Oh, there we go. So, let's see. So let's check Joe FS read file, right? And then we'll go over to the documentation. Look for that. No matches. Fantastic. We have to actually go into Joe Engine to do that. Let me first keep adding up all these file sizes. So that's 804, 804, 804. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quote. And slides, these look like the real killers here. Slides. This is 24.5. 24.5. 16.5. 30.5, 24.5, 16.5. 24.5, 30.5, 24.5. And finally 30.5. Now none of these are like egregiously huge file sizes. to my understanding. Hey, Cobra, thanks for the host. Okay, and now the textures, and these guys are definitely being loaded up, no matter what, because I've seen them. Like, we might make the excuse that some of these are not loaded in memory or something like that, but so definitely these guys are 1.02. I don't even know what brick does. So 16.5, 48. 16.5, 48. 16. And 6.04. And then 48 and 48 for the Yunkai. So, all of your, oops. Okay, so all the images put together, assuming they're all loaded up into memory, is taking up 800 kilobytes of room. Which makes me think you're not even able to load up everything. I think you're running out of space rapidly. You only have 1 megabyte of RAM. So this is already a problematic situation to be in. So what we can do is we can bug check and say, okay, first off, we got to go over into Joe Engine itself and see what Joe FS read full is returning, which means I need to figure out where that is coming from. So it's probably, is it under core? Let's find out. Oh, whoops. Copy. Paste. Okay, it's not in core. Let's see, font, FS. Oh, it's probably in here. There we go. No, not there. There. It's Boolean. It returns... Well, if Joe debug is on, callback is null. If... Wait, is debug mode, is it on or off in your make file? Okay, Joe debug should be on, so I would assume if it returns null, it would say Joe core error, callback is null. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, with this much, these giant freaking sprites and stuff, he might end up having to do some manual memory allocation, which is something I don't even like to do. If FID is less than 0, one of these Joe core arrows should have triggered if we are indeed doing something like this. Anyway, what's the return value? Like, essentially, we should see if the return... Oh my goodness, this is a mess. Johannes, what were you doing? When does it return true? Oh, I can't even read this. Okay, let's just see if this thing returns true. So we'll do... We'll have an audio.h, we'll have... No, I don't need to make this static. I'll just do bool sound loaded. There, and then I'll initialize it as false, and then sound loaded can be returned as whatever the result of this function is. No, not this function. PCM. So PCM is just a true or false thing. But with sound loaded, it's going to be initialized as false. But also, in that input screening thing, let's see, loaded, I can type, loaded, what is it, %B for booleans? Tell me if this looks wrong to you. I'm pretty sure it's wrong, but I'm not sure. What's the f print for boolean? Can I just use an integer? Is it like a 0 or 1 thing? Okay, yeah, fine. At the very least, we'll figure out if this thing is loaded or not. My guessing is it's probably not loaded because it's not playing, and it's the last thing in line to get loaded up. If I move the sound initialization to the front of the line, maybe we'll get it. Loaded 0. That tells me it's not loaded. Yeah, okay, so the sound never gets loaded. I'm pretty sure somehow it just doesn't get there, but I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me. But it returns false without throwing a Jocore engine error, despite the fact that the makefile says we are using debug. I mean, it is what it is. We have to figure out a way to load the PCM, which means we need to load sound effects initialization potentially before the graphics even get initialized. Actually, do we ever call sound effects initialization? I see it here in start intro, which doesn't get called. Guys, I definitely should have caught that earlier. My bad. Let's do a little initialization sequence. Okay. Let's try. That's that's gonna be annoying if that was the case. If that was the problem. Out of memory. Yep. We tried loading the sound, and we ran out of memory for the TGA. But at least the sound's loaded. We gotta figure out a way to not load everything else. Okay, what do we need to load? Let's strip out everything we don't need to load. Oh boy. That is a thing that happened. Let's see, sound effects initialization. All we're doing is loading one sound. Bruh. Okay, next, font initialization. Where do we even find that? Over here? No, over here? There. And font initialization should load up a font from font_s.tga, which is... where are you? Rossies Classic CD. Oh, I forgot to add that in. Font s.tga is 9 kilobytes, but I think we can afford that. Yeah, I'm going to have to rewrite my thing. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do like a master list of all the memory locations for all the sound effects I'm doing. And then whenever I need to load up a new level or whatever, I'm just going to have to throw away whatever I had. Okay, so so far we've got 9 kilobytes along with bruh, which is 37 kilobytes. So let's keep a running counter of everything that we're loading up as we go step through all this stuff. So we got 37 kilobytes from bruh. and then we load up the font. That's another 9 kilobytes. We're at 46. Now, we go, start intro is skipped, so let's just get rid of that for right now. Load again. When we reload the game, over in game.c, let's see. Load game, load game, load. It's not an update, it's not in draw. Load game, there we go. We have to load the background. Okay. Set up alpha, set up speech bubbles, set up Crunkenites. Brick sprite. I don't know why we have brick sprite, but okay. Then we start the game. So, load background. Joe image, background data is null. TGA loader, college.tga. This is where we, okay, this is the first part where we actually run into a problem then, but that's the next thing to get loaded. That's the first thing that we do after we do those first two things. College.tga is 225 freaking kilobytes. So at 271, we ran out of space. But what I suspect is happening is that 225 is just... No, wait, because it was working before. So, do we only have 271 kilobytes to work with or less? I'm not sure I believe that. I'm not sure I'm buying this. By the time we get here, we've only loaded up the font and the... We've only loaded up the font and the sound effect. And I don't believe the sound effect is big enough to throw everything out of whack like this. But college.tga loading is where we actually start getting into trouble. But we haven't even hit 400 kilobytes yet. We're at 271 after college. The first two things that we load, in order, when we initialize our resources. Core initialization is just black. Okay, so we start the engine. Initialize the sound effects. All we're doing is we're loading up one sound effect, broad.pcm. 37 kilobytes. Load the font. The font itself is 9 kilobytes, and that gets loaded up as a TJ tile set. Does that expand in memory somehow? Can we skip that? If we skip that, will it load the rest of the game without using the font? Let's find out. Okay, I'll look in the makefile as soon as I find out that this doesn't crash. Or it does. I don't know. One of the two. Does it? Nope. Crashes at college.tga. It could be that the memory locations are overlapping somehow, but I don't think that's the issue. So, why are we using the 3D module? Let's get rid of that. I don't understand how we have dynamic memory at 68%, because we've literally, by that point, we've only loaded up 40 kilobytes before we try to do this. Let me go back to main real quick and just okay, no, that's good. That's already fixed. So I turned off 3D module. Audio module should be on. TGA is on. Backup. Actually, what is backup? Here's the thing. Global memory size for Malik, a lot. All right, I trust you. Let's put that over here. How big is that in what is that? So we have 4, 600, 800 divided by 1024, 450 kilobytes. All right. Hopefully that's enough. It's loading. Okay. Okay, you can stop now. Please stop. Okay, let's turn this off. The good news is that the sound's working. The bad news is we need to control it better. Ponut fixed it. Everyone thank Ponut. We had to allocate more memory because we didn't have enough memory to... We somehow came right up to the limit with college.tga, which I think might have been, like, naturally selected, because I'm pretty sure what happened while Cobra was working on this was that he was getting all these images to shove into the memory, and he eventually found out by accident, or maybe he didn't like find out, but he kind of like naturally selected himself into a corner where he has exactly enough assets to push up against that boundary. And as soon as we pushed up over it by loading one more thing, everything broke. So the answer to this is to allow Joe Engine to get more stuff into memory, and also maybe make your resources smaller, because like over 100 kilobytes for an image feels like a lot. Like a lot of this image, if I can open it up, is a little redundant. Like we could probably break this down into a lot of different sprites and work on it separately. I don't know. I mean, I like this graffiti. It's a nice touch. But I feel like if we broke this down into a few sprites, like turn the bushes into sprites, and then kind of like tile these bricks along, make some of these windows a little bit more uniform so you could tile them and make the breaks their own sprites, you could save a lot of space that way. Okay. Anyway, so I think I made my point. So we've temporarily fixed the problem, and then we'll just spend the rest of the stream kind of fixing it up so it does what you wanted it to do originally, which is just kind of like intelligently pick a sound. But in the future, for future reference, try to manage your image resources in a way that it reduces redundancy, so that you don't run into this, because a lot of this space is wasted memory, because you're repeating the same pixel. Probably like hundreds of times. This is a really huge image, actually. Like, we could probably, like, make this a quarter the size and then scale it 4 times, and it would probably still kind of work. This is from Sonic Mania, and it's a remix from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Okay. So, audio. Let's go back and do that thing where I said, okay, we'll intelligently find a channel. Okay. No, wait, that's not what I wanted. I commented that got cut. What I wanted is this. I'm going to start at -1. No channel. Then, if I find the oldest audio time and I set current channel to that, and then I play current channel, assuming it's within acceptable range. And then for now, let's just do sound effect 1. Sound effect 1. And we'll change it to sound index after I make sure that this is working as expected. So this should be able to play on multiple channels. Where are you? Here. No, crap. That's where I thought I was. Oh, it's probably under update. Collapsed. There we go. This thing. No. Where did it go? Where's the, is it the handle the player logic or something like that? Here's a load stuff. Check collision. Control player. That's where it is. Okay. And, well, we'll keep that in for now. But there is, somewhere else we have a play audio call that I want to get rid of. Because it's repeating. And it won't stop repeating. There we go. This thing. On the update. This looks like a debugging step. We've already gone past that point. I'm getting rid of it because all it's doing is repeating it every 3/4 of a second. Gone. I mean, they're similar formats in that they're lossless pixel for pixel representations of images. But I think PNG does actual compression. TGA is definitely well, I mean, it can be compressed. The way we use it, we don't use it compressed. There's ways you can compress it without, like, doing pixel compression. What I mean is you can compress the color depth so that each pixel representation is it takes a smaller number of bits to represent. Like if you only had two potential colors, like a binary image, black and white, each pixel could be represented by a single bit. Now with like full color, like what you're doing, you potentially could be using several bits. You can be using bytes even per pixel to represent all the colors. Generally, I think we go with 1 or 2 bytes per pixel. I forget which. It's probably 2 bytes per pixel. And that means if you're doing a full-size image without any sort of compression at all, it comes out pretty big. XL2 has a nice little program that compresses TGAs to their essential colors and does that color level compression that I was talking about. But as far as what I do in order to save space, everything's a sprite tile. I would load up the tile set and I'll just tile the sprites as needed. And it does the job. So it's not really compression, it's just making things less redundant. Like whatever I have loaded in memory, that's what I actually need. And I can just redraw stuff I have in memory. For the... Actually, let's just see if this will properly... still play... If it'll still play sounds, we'll go back to your arrayed version of loading sounds and see if we can load multiple sounds and have them...
Bruh. 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 Bruh.
Huh,
Bruh.
that's weird.
Bruh. Bruh.
Well, you don't have to redraw the entire background. You can take the essential elements of the background and turn them into sprites and then find a way to draw it. So like those bricks,
Bruh.
those bricks, you can take just like a small square of them and tile them to the right space. Those bushes, if you made them more uniform, you could have 1 or 2 bush sprites and tile them. All the windows can be baseline the same, and then you can draw different kinds of cracks to draw on top of them. Now, the school entrance would probably be like its own sprite, I'll give him that. But the street, very easily replaceable with, you know, a large stretched out solid color, and then maybe, you know, 1 or 2 sprites for the lines. Like the horizontal line can be 1 sprite, the diagonal line can be 1 sprite repeated a few times, vertical line can be 1 sprite. Those, you know, the marks on the road can be their own sprite. You have your parking spot. Let me get this guy out of the way. You only have 2 parking spots there and look like mirror images of each other. That could be 1 sprite that's drawn in reverse from itself. So there's a lot of room to compress everything here. Graffiti's a nice touch. I say you keep it as its own sprite. You know, stuff like that. The small details you could probably end up getting rid of, like the graffiti on the column on that college thing. You could turn all the different graffiti into their own sprites, and then you can even kind of like randomize if you want. I mean, that's a step too far, but you could make it the graffiti change with the condition of the level or something like that. Like you could start out with all these windows being intact, and then as you keep pressing the fire button, the windows get shot out and have cracks develop on them. And that would both be a more compressed way of what you're doing right now and also add a level of interactivity to the level. You can have transparencies on the TGA, yeah, that's not the issue. The issue for the Saturn is partial transparency, where we have, like, an alpha layer. This Saturn cannot do hardware alpha. You have to do it in software. Okay, let us try loading up more sounds. So, like I said, TGA compression is what you make it. And if you compress it in a very specific way, you need to have your own very specific way of drawing it. By default, I think the way we load TGAs and draw them with Joe Engine is uncompressed. Yeah. If you didn't have transparent layers on TGAs, or transparent colors, rather, on TGAs, nothing would really work. You wouldn't be able to have, like, sprites that weren't square. You'd be stuck with something that looked like the original Ultima, like older than Dragon Quest. They do have a compression algorithm, but they won't load natively on Joe Engine unless you write something around it. Okay, so let's load all these different sound effects into memory and try that. In Joe doesn't do that. SGL, you can try doing that, but it's a headache. XL2 has already figured it out, which is why him releasing all that... Oh, come on, seriously? So when XL2 released all of his code for Sonic Z-Dream and the Z-Dream tools and stuff like that, that's what made a lot of 3D possible for like people like me and Ponut. You have to do a lot of legwork between SGL and making a usable 3D environment. Which is why Scenario is taking forever to get done. I've moved on to this 2D game for this contest. Once the contest is over, unless there's a lot of demand for me to add more features to Forsaken Plain, I'll go back to Scenario and keep working on that. But 3D is just slow on the Saturn because the tool set, aside from XL2 stuff, is just not there. Yeah, you can make a 3D model in Blender, and the importer works if you use XL2 stuff. If not, if you go by what the SGL manual tells you to do, you need to go out and buy yourself an original, Macintosh from '96 and find the proprietary software, run it on that. There are 3D demos, and what they are is they're hard-coded cubes that he renders. And they are incredibly inefficient. If you try to make a game out of that, you're going to have a heck of a time. But yes, he does have an example where you create a cube, and you texture it, and you render it, and you can spin it and everything. In fact, my first couple streams in Scenario used that kind of code before XL2 set me straight with his stuff. But if you try doing that with, like... There's no pipeline there. You have to hard code all the vertices and then figure out how to animate it and stuff like that. XL2 stuff just works. If you try to do it the way Joe Engine's doing it, you're going to be sitting there like figuring out, like doing math. You just try to draw basic shapes. It's not worth dealing with. If you don't have a pipeline to go from some 3D animation software into Saturn, don't bother with 3D. So without XL2, there is no 3D on Saturn as far as I'm concerned. Into Joe natively? No. You have to, like I said, it's all hard-coded. You have to go look at how he's coding it. He's literally hard-coding in vertices. Like, he's telling you, here's, +2, -2, or however big the cube is. And then he can rotate it with rotation matrices, and SGL's good about applying rotation matrices. But that's not the issue. The issue is making the shape to begin with, and texturing it. As far as, like, making something in Blender and exporting it as an object file, without XL2 stuff, no, there's no way to do it. That I know of. And if you read the technical manuals from SGL itself, it's requiring, like, proprietary software that we technically have access to, but you need, like, an old machine just to run it. Like, Windows NT and an old Macintosh. And without it, you can't even run the programs. So basically, you need like a virtual machine to use the original toolset. The original toolset kind of sucks. I mean, if you want to do 3D, use XL2 stuff. He's published it already. I mean, yeah. You have to VM yourself. If you want to use the original toolset, which don't. They suck. Just don't do it. Don't. Like, if you want to make music, either you go back and you get an old eMac or iMac or whatever. It was an eMac back then, I think. And you get Sega's proprietary tools and you try to make it in that, or you get a copy of Fruity Loops, make your own music, export it as a wave, and then export it as a PCM if you want it as a sound effect, and shove it in the game. If you want to make 3D shapes, either you go in Sega's 3D environment, which has very, very basic tools, not worth using, or you go into Blender, make what you want, export the object file, go through XL2's model converter, and use Z-Dream tools. Anyway, let's try to give ourselves a little bit more memory here. So this is 450 kilobytes, and I want 450 plus, let's call it like 40 times 3, plus 450 times 1024. Let's do that. Oh, come on. Do I need more? Are you asking for more? Do you want more from me? Is that the issue? Do we need the video module? I don't think we need the video module. Let's turn that off. Okay, apparently 570. How big are these audio files that you're trying to load? Explode. 117. No, you got... I'm putting you on a budget. This is ridiculous. No, that's way too big. Shotgun, 111? You need... What kind of... How long are these explosion sound effects for? Okay. Let's try 700 times 1024. We're going to do our best to get these things to fit in memory. But you are pushing it with this... you need to be a lot more memory efficient on the Saturn. You've only got a megabyte to work with in high and low. If this crashes, I'm giving up, and I'm saying you got to use bra. All your sound effects are just going to be bra. Okay, there we go. The game feels slower. Nothing's happening yet. Well, everything loads off the disk, but you have to put whatever's on the disk in memory in order to use it. You can't read live from disk into the bus. That's not quite how it works. I mean, I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but the point is, it loads in differently. There's different kinds of memory, but the way this is working, we're loading the PCM into, I believe, low working RAM. And the sound chip does have its own memory. It's not a lot, but it's there. And I think you might be right that the music, specifically music files, get read in through a different channel, get loaded into a different place in memory. However, the problem we're dealing with right now is all the PCMs are taking up all the low working RAM. To my knowledge. Well, yeah, a lot of these games, the way they work is they're going to have WAV files or whatever, native CD audio that they have, load off the CD and play as a CD, while the rest of the game is in memory doing its thing. Hey, Dialiar, I don't recognize your name, but thank you for the follow. You're free to join us in chat if you want. Okay. I'm going to give you slide or shotgun explode. Here's the thing. I'm looking at these files. They're too big. Explode is 117, shotgun's 111, slide is, well, whatever it is. I got to lower this budget a bit. So I'm going to put this down to 600 kilobytes, right? I'll just do 550 times 1024. See if we run out of memory. But you see, we got explode, we got shotgun, we got slide. All these guys are trying to load into memory, and it's just not going to work. Yeah, but at the very least, if I just load everything as bruh and put it into your sound structure and it works, then you know what you have to do in order to get everything else to kind of work. Because if I load draw in multiple times, it's like loading in that size sound file in multiple times. So in theory it works, you just need to have smaller sound files. Why isn't this running? What is going on? I think it's the memory issue. Okay, you know what? Let's try this. Everything is bra. You are bra, I'm bra, he's bra. Squidward is bra. Maybe we got to make this number a little bit lower. Let's even more conservative. 500 kilobytes. No, not 50. 500. Oh, come on. What are these warnings even from? They didn't come here before. Oh, maybe they were there and I was just ignoring them. I can't even read these errors. They don't make any sense to me. They're writing on top of each other? But not used. What did I do? This looks right. Okay, first off, let's make your audio structure 3 big. But let's just try running that again, see what happens. Oh, come on. I don't get it. Why is it throwing these weird errors? I didn't change anything and it compiles. This makes even less sense. Oh, I'm broken. Okay. Let's take away that one extra redundant bra and try to play it off of SFX. What's it called? The array. Let's try to play it off the SFX array. So I'm gonna comment that guy out. I'm gonna comment SFX1 out. And that means when I play the audio, the sound index actually has to go to a sound index. Try again. This feels
Bruh.
okay, and it's playing.
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
It's playing from the array. So the array, the way it's set up,
Bruh.
is correct.
Bruh.
The problem was memory allocation. So that's your fundamental problem. Like, it looks like all over the place is just memory allocation. You're running short on resources on the Saturn because we are programming on the Saturn. That's part of the challenge. And because all of your files are just so freaking big, it's hard for the Saturn to keep up. So you need to make your textures a lot smaller by being less redundant with resources and drawing sprites multiple times as opposed to having one big one. And your sound effects
Bruh.
need to be shorter
Bruh.
or compressed or something. But like, this is 37 kilobytes and you're trying to play like 100. And then maybe eventually I'll do like Ponent says and figure out a way to play with actual memory and play stuff where it needs to go. Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling that you would have been struggling with this for a while because it's kind of a bizarre problem to have. It's not something you expect to find out. Because the problem with programming today is that memory is pretty much free. Like, in the lab that I work in, we have a computer that literally has 1 terabyte of memory for simulations. Not 1 terabyte of hard drive space. It has that too. It has 1 terabyte of RAM. So arguing over kilobytes feels silly in today's day and age, but remember, we're going back in time not too long after Bill Gates said we never need more than 64 kilobytes. Yeah. So yeah, you will, at some point, your game is going to have to decide to unload some sprites in order to load other sprites, or your game is just going to have to shrink everything. Like, I'm not sure how you're going to shrink this guy in a hat. I don't know that you need to. Definitely the background needs to be less big. And maybe this gun in the foreground, he can stand to be a little bit more compressed. Maybe you can... because there's a lot of dead space in this whole big sprite. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So, if I were to go into this texture and look at this sprite is 64 kilobytes big, but it's at least 1/4, 1/3, maybe even 1/2 empty space. If you made this hand its own sprite, this arm its own sprite, and the stock its own sprite, maybe make these bullets their own sprites. That might be a step too far, but if you made this like 3 sprites instead of 1, you'd end up cutting out a lot of the empty space that you don't have to worry about. And then this guy, maybe consider making the torso and legs and head a single sprite, or kind of breaking it up so that you only have to animate part of it, and that way the legs can always be what they are. You can get rid of a lot of this dead space. The arms on the side could be animated to what they need to be. And so when you go from this guy over to this guy, if all you're changing is the arms and the torso, you're not wasting all this dead space over here, all this dead space over here, all this dead space over here and here, which is all loaded into memory as one solid transparent color. Well, when you have small sprites, you can have a sprite sheet. So for Forsaken Plane, the prisoner, which is the main character, Forsaken Plane has a prisoner and he has a sprite sheet and all of his animations are on there. So this is not as space efficient as what I was talking about, but everything is kind of like custom animated anyway, so it's fine. And it's small. The whole sprite sheet itself takes up 19 kilobytes because it's color dense and it's small. So in 19 kilobytes, I have all the animations my main character needs on the overworld, compared to in Rossies Classic, this one enemy, in order to do his full animation cycle, because he's so big, he's taking up 80.6 kilobytes. Yeah, I load one thing as a tile set, and then I break up the tile into coordinates. So I say, okay, at coordinate 0, 0, in this 16 by 32 segment is a single tile. And I can cycle through it as an animation with a custom timing. GeoEngine has convenient tools to do that after you figure them out. Yeah, because that's about what I'm capable of. So, really, my game could probably fit on the Genesis. However, because we are on the Saturn, and I just recently acquired a Netlink, I'm going to potentially have an online component if I can figure it out over Thanksgiving and Christmas. We'll see. Even if it's just walking around and talking in a lobby, I want to do the online component just to say I have it. Positioning shouldn't be that bad because everything is relative. If you have a master coordinate for your enemy sprite, what you can do is you can say, okay, master coordinate minus, 16x20y is where I start drawing the arm, or something like that. Apparently, yes. Gokai has actually been working on using that map thing, but I have no clue how it really works. I know you've been working with the Sonic demo. I'm not sure what you're planning on doing with it. If you want to make a full-length level that I can play through for the competition. Shane, yes, I am planning on using the DreamPie to interface with the Saturn. And funny story with the Saturn Netlink, it has two methods of communication. There's direct dial, which has its own library, which we have access to, and then there's internet IP-based dial. So direct dial goes like from phone line to phone line, and that basically requires that you have an actual old-style phone, landline that isn't VoIP, or maybe can be VoIP, I'm not sure, but it needs to be an old analog phone line. And that will be able to go directly to another Saturn uniquely. In Japan, however, when they didn't have the Netlink, they had their own modem, the Sega Saturn modem. They had server-based games, and that went through IP to a server on the internet, and that would allow, in theory, multiple players to play, although I don't think it actually worked that way. But with the Netlink, if you go via the DreamPie, you should be able to access the internet using the Netlink browser. And that means, in theory, if I code a game using IP address-based communication, I should be able to go through the Netlink using those libraries that we have access to make an online game. It's still dial-up, and I believe it is 14.4K. Kilobits per second, but I will make it work, because the way I calculated, it's like 30 kilobytes per, or what is it, 30 bytes per frame or something like that, which is plenty for me. Yeah. So when is Sage? Because you're doing the Sonic demo, but I assume you want to clean it up and make it more playable. Like you were talking about loop-de-loops earlier. Okay, 14.4 minus overhead. Maybe I'll have 15 bytes per frame, but that's still, for what I need to do with it, which is basically just player coordinates and single decisions. That's probably plenty. Because I'm probably going to do like quarter-second or half-second updates. It's going to look choppy because it's 1996, but it'll be playable. At least I'll try. But yeah, Gokai. I think we're going to call it I think we figured out what the problem is, and it's not something we can really fix up here, but we have got the sound behaving in a way that we like, and if we wanted to, we could wrap this play audio with a last play timer, or we could have this if statement fail. Logic can be added to fail by not allowing audio time plus timer to exceed time. So basically what I'm saying here is that we can add logic in the if statement to make sure that this is -1. Oh, hello. Who did that? I missed that. I'm sorry. What? Oh, Shane, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, wait, Cobra, don't go to bed just yet. I'm going to package this up and send it to you over Discord via zip file, and then you will have this copy of the code, and you can figure out what you want to do with it next. But I believe your sound issue is solved as long as you fix everything else, which is size. But yeah. Basically, what I'm saying here is that we can switch the behavior to this thing by swapping that if statement to including the timer, and that way we can make it so that no sound plays if all the timers are still going, which is, you know, if that's the alternate behavior you want, then the sound file won't play, or it will step on some other sound file. But I think that's about it for the night. So this is my first assistant stream where I focus entirely on someone else's game. Obviously, this is not helping me too much in my competition entry, but this will help Cobradile's game, Rossies Classic, play a little bit better and have actual sound in it. And what's important to me is that more entries come into this competition, which is why I expanded that prize pool to have 4 top prizes. Oh no, I can't send a... oh, that's right. Wait. There we go. So, Cobra, you have your game now updated with today's stream's worth of stuff. I'm not going to upload it onto any sort of GitHub available here unless Cobra asks me to for when I upload this stream, because it's not my game. However, you guys see what I did play with, so if you want to rewatch the stream on YouTube, then you'll see the kind of problems we had to overcome, and we'll see what programming techniques I was using, but you won't be able to access the code as usual. Cobra, I will literally mail you a floppy. I have the hardware here to do that if you really want me to. Okay, so unless you know, you guys want to hang out and chat for a bit, I think it's 10 o'clock my time. For Cobradile, it's probably 4 a.m. or some stupid crap like that. I think we're gonna hang out for the night. So unless anyone else has anything to add, I'll see you guys hopefully next week, if not sooner, depending. Thanksgiving is going to be a very productive time for me because I've only spoken for 1 or 2 days, and I think one of those days I'm going to go over hang out with Shane. Not sure yet. Oh yeah, we got a raid. Thanks for reminding me. I'm bad at streaming. Okay, everyone hang on. We're going to go find someone to raid. Now, chances are more often than not it's going to be Go Pirate Software, because they added me to their team a while back and we've been supporting each other. Let us see who is actually available for stream today. Wow, that was actually close. Okay, Cobra the Best is hosting me. Biker Dad. Okay, guys, let's take a vote. I think I don't know if everyone's familiar, but Biker Dad was that one guy that was doing programming on his own. You know, as a dad with kids, and I think he's doing something in C. He was pretty cool last time we hung out with him. There's also Go Pirate Software, who I said, you know, great supporter of mine, but he's also got 59 streamers, so doesn't need it as badly. And then there's that artist guy, Russell Stewart, that we've run into a couple times already. There's a few other people I don't really recognize, but they're all part of the Go Pirate team. So, who do we want to raid tonight? So, I'm thinking either Biker Dad or Go Pirate Software. I don't know what Go Pirate's doing. Usually, if they're not playing a game, they're making art. Yeah, let's go Biker Dad. Okay. Everyone get ready to raid Biker Dad. In 7 seconds? Oh boy. Thanks, Gokai, but we're about to leave. Everyone raid Biker Dad now.